I gotta ask, do you know what you really are? I watch a lot of YouTubers. Anybody who watches my channel knows. And I see glimpses of us getting closer to understanding what we really are. And I see those glimpses also being distorted so that it keeps you guessing. And I know exactly what I am because I've been out of my body so many times. But nobody wants to hear about those things. They ask, you know, what's beyond life? Well, you won't listen to any of the answers. Instead, you go to all these people who speak about religion. Why? You already know who you are. And I believe there was a man like Jesus. And because he told you the same thing I'm telling you now, he was crucified, made a martyr, and manipulated by religion. That's what I believe about Jesus. So when you ask me if I am a good Christian, no, I am not. That's a religion. It's manipulated. The whole story is never before you. It's, can you fill in the blanks accurately? That's why religions keep having to reconstruct themselves. Now, I gotta tell you, I am one of the first people over the last year to speak against immigration until I died this last time. Well, I wasn't quite dead, but the message was loud and clear. And I'm terminal, so I have nothing to lose by telling you what happened, what my experience was really like. There were no clouds, never were, not one time out of my 6 out-of-body experiences due to death or being on the doorstep of death. I can honestly tell you, there's no clouds, there's no gates, there's no St. Peter, there's none of that. There is you going on a trip. You going on a trip without your vessel. That's what it is. Now, if you're petrified and you have all these beliefs about what and who you are as a being, well, you're going to make that trip very terrifying. And depending on how deeply you have instilled this belief into yourself, is how long it's going to take you to make that trip. Do I believe we incarnate? Absolutely. I also believe we choose our vessels. I also believe that before we're ever even conceived in the womb, we decide our parents and influence those living beings to desire us, to create our life, to create our vessel. It's not complicated. And when a vessel fails, sometimes it's because the experience of the being who the vessel is being created for has changed their mind. And they've left the body. They've left the being that was being created. Now, this being is biological. that we inhabit. And you hear all kinds of people say that, and they're, oh, that's a spiritualist wacko. I'm not saying this out of spirituality. I'm identifying myself to you. How's that for a response? I know what I am. I can't find the words to describe what I am, because humanity doesn't have them yet. Not because I can't, or because it's forbidden. It's because you won't understand. And what you are finding in your historical record is manipulated and distorted beyond belief. Those were not gods. And they may have, and I do believe, did tamper with DNA, just like we do. Where do you think we learned it from? Listen, what we are considering gifts to the planet and to ourselves are not. They're deceit. But you haven't learned to recognize it yet. Now, I actually have retained some fragments of my past lives, enough to recognize that some of the things I did wrong in my past lives, I had to experience in this life, because I took no consequences for my actions that I knew were wrong. And guess what? Those are the things that are going to come with you when you die. This vessel was not created to be eternal. That's why it was used from the planet's DNA to create, so that it did not live in immortality, because you choose your timeline. I don't know the end timeline I chose for myself, but I do know that I have been on the other side and been told it isn't your time. And when I asked, so I stopped asking after a while, when I asked, why is it not my time? My heart is failing. Why is it not my time? You agreed is all I get. I don't get a timeline told to me. So I might have left my timeline open, so that if there was something I needed to do, I could do it before I left. But opening that timeline doesn't mean that I can just extend it forever. I have to take another form. I have a timeline to adhere to. That's what the real time is about. It is not about you getting to work. The real timeline you're living by is understanding your real environment, so that you can recognize a false environment. And you're going to come into the next life. And if you don't get control of yourselves in this timeline, let's just say the next timeline, you're going to be on the opposing team and understand why they did what they did. And for every judgment I have to face, it's not easy. I wonder, did I try hard enough to show that people I've harmed with my actions and my words understood that I truly do regret it. I hope they know that before I leave this world. We're all going to face Judgment Day because of the kind of beings we are. This wonderful, incredible, biologically driven AI is nothing compared to what we are. We inhabit these vessels. Even Jesus said so. We are not the vessels. And no church and no government can free you or excuse the bad things you do and the harm you know you cause by doing them. It's actually much simpler. Are the kids and college graduates on the right track about the multidimensional beings? Yes. Except they keep saying they're aliens. They are not. And they keep you afraid of them. Even I was afraid of them because I didn't know they were one of my own. Just in a different biological form. That's it. There's no difference between us and them, except the knowledge that we're learning. That's it. That's it. So, in realizing that, I'm able to let go of a lot of garbage. Because I see my world tearing itself apart. Cities burning, children crying, hearts breaking. And it's just a repeat. I commented on a stela that I saw, that what I saw was a warning for humanity on that stela. That the gods, as they like to believe themselves to be, are repeating history because they still have not learned. And the lineage that keeps passing on, this corrupted lineage, by refusing, it's corrupted because it refuses to see itself for what it is. The same as you and me. We're exactly all the same kind of beings. And the kids are right. The kids are right.